Hello guys, how you're doing? Well, I hope this meets you in perfect condition. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about a very important subject. But before we go on, kindly hit the like button if you like what you see and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That being said, let's move on to today's video. Well, today we're going to be talking about Narcissus. We're going to be exploring the life and times of Narcissus. A lot of you might have heard of the character Narcissus, some others might not have. Well, Narcissus is from the Greek mythology, and like many other mythologies, they have slightly different versions of the same story. But today I'm going to be sharing the version that I think I like the most of them all that I've read. So the version that I'm going to be talking about today, I actually read it in the book The Alchemist. Well guys, let's stop here for a moment. Today we're not talking about The Alchemist, but I just want to give you a little heads up. We're going to be doing a book review of the book The Alchemist. It's a very beautiful book by the Brazilian author Paulo Coelho. It talks about the core of the human existence by way of storytelling. I find it very fascinating. It's a quick read, and you also find it very fascinating. I bet you when you pick up that book, you will not be able to drop it until you're done. And so you can read it in like a day or two, depending on your schedule. So please find it and read it so we can follow while we're doing the book review. And so I'll leave a picture of it on the screen, somewhere on the screen, so you could easily identify it when you see it. Now back to Narcissus. So according to this mythology, Narcissus was a very handsome young man. He was a youth and he was blessed with physical beauty. Very, very handsome. I have to stress it because, you know, there are some boys that are finer than a fine girl, like that kind of beauty. A boy that even fine girls will be tripping, like he was so fine and he knew that he was fine. He knew he was blessed with physical beauty. And so he was also fascinated about his beauty, and because of that, he carried himself in some way. When people talked to him, most times he snubbed them because, of course, I'm a fine boy, like what do I need from you? And so he always went to the lake every day to contemplate his own beauty, to look at the lake and have a reflection of himself, to see a reflection of himself in the water. So I would safely assume that at the time there were no mirrors or the like, maybe. So he was always going there to use the lake like a mirror, you understand? So probably they didn't have mirrors at that time. And on one of unfortunate day, he was staring at himself by the riverside and he fell into the river and drowned, like he died. So when he died, at the spot where he fell, later on, a flower bloomed from that spot, like it germinated from that spot and it bloomed out, and that flower is called the Narcissus flower. After that, according to this version now, the goddesses of the forest, they were unhappy and all that, so they went to the lake, they met the lake, and when they got to the lake, they noticed that the lake had turned into a salty water of tears. And so they asked the lake, why are you weeping? You've turned to a salty water of tears, like you've just left who you are and you've become tears. Why are you weeping? So the lake said that, well, I weep for Narcissus. So the goddesses were like, yeah, they feel bad too for Narcissus, the way he died and all that. And so, well, they never really got a chance to have a good glance at his beauty, because many a times when he ran through the forest to get to the lake, they would try to call him, he would not answer them, he would just be running, you know, he had his aim now to get to the river and look at his beautiful self. So they would be calling him, he would not answer them, he would just run through the forest with speed and they would be chasing behind him, but he won't answer them. He gets to the river and then he starts doing his thing. So they've not really had a good glance at his beauty. So when they were stressing the beauty of Narcissus, the lake now asked them, was Narcissus beautiful? Like, was he fine? If you were the goddesses, what would you think? You'd be like, lake, your head correct, so you understand. You were the one, they were like, you're the one that really had a good glance at him, because you were the one who had an opportunity to look at him. He came to you every day and spent long hours with you, so you had the opportunity to really look at him. And he was like, wow. So he kept silent, and they were wondering, what's the problem? After a while, he spoke. And he said, well, he knows that Narcissus usually came to him every day to contemplate his beauty and all that, but he never really noticed Narcissus' beauty. They were astonished. Somebody that was coming every day. So the lake now said that while Narcissus came to stare at him and to see his reflection, that the lake himself or itself usually looked into Narcissus' eyes, and when he looked into his eyes, he also saw a reflection of himself. That's the lake. So while Narcissus was staring at the lake to find his own reflection, the lake was staring into Narcissus' eyes to find his own reflection. So they both did not notice each other, you get. The leg did not notice his beauty. Narcissus, of course, did not notice the leg's beauty or whatever. That was not his aim. He just was looking at himself, and I was like, whoa. Like, can you be so close to somebody and be so detached from that person? And when I read the story, the first thing that came to my mind was that Narcissus was a very self-absorbed person. Narcissus suffered greatly from self-absorption. So in my own understanding, self-absorption is basically self-focus to the extreme. When you focus on yourself so much and you get to the extreme, and then it begins to hamper on other areas of your life. So the first lesson or danger that I would draw from self-absorption is impaired relationship. Narcissus had no relationship with anybody, not even one person. There was nobody that they would say, okay, Narcissus was friends with, or a family member that he had close ties with. Like, he was just so detached from the whole world. It was just about him and his beauty. And many a times we see that we focus so much on what we have achieved in the past, forgetting that there is something to achieve in the future. We focus on it, we get absorbed with our past success. That's why they said that the greatest enemy to your future success is your past success, because it will hamper on your ability to want to press, to want to get out of your comfort zone. You're just happy and comfortable that, wow, I've got this accolade, I've got this accomplishment, and what is there again about life? And so that was his own thinking. So he neglected every other person. Other people were not assigned as him, as though he was star boy. It was just about himself. So it broke down his relationships with people. He gave people no attention. The goddesses tried to get his attention, he just ran past them. Other people in the village or in the town tried to get his attention. He did not assign anybody. He was a fine boy. So he became alone. Like, there was no relationship with any other person. And this leads me to the next thought that I have, that it impairs, after impairing your relationship, it now takes you to a sort of a recluse, a state of loneliness and isolation. He was alone. And I was now thinking, like, if Narcissus had a friend or a body or somebody, maybe he wouldn't have died the kind of death he died, because he was alone. He just fell there and died. There was nobody to come to his rescue, nobody to raise an alarm, because he lived a life of isolation. Also, it kind of limited his perspective. There was never a record of Narcissus doing well in business, doing well in career or in academics or in anything. There was nothing to his life. It was just about that thing that he had accomplished. And you see that sometimes we just say, I'm a fine girl, that is all. When they say, okay, fine girl, come, let us have a conversation, you cannot have a conversation. Or I have money and that is all. When they say, okay, come, let us build a family, you cannot build a family, because all you have thought about in life is just to make money. It just limits your perspective about life. We are human beings, and that's the way God created us. We are relational beings. We are meant to relate with other people, and then we are meant to branch out in different aspects. Like, our life is not just a straight line. There are many detours in our life, and so we are meant to be able to accommodate different versions, different things about life. But he focused his mind only on his beauty. Like, there was nothing else to it. I am a slay queen, and that is all. I'm a fine girl, and that is all. That is really bad. It's very dangerous. Like what happens to Narcissus, it can even take your life. Another is decreased empathy, because people like this now, they are so focused on themselves. They don't care how other people feel. Imagine somebody who snubs people. Like, people are trying to talk to you, you are snubbing them. People are even chasing after you. Please, I want to tell you something. You are not even listening to them. Like, who be this? So there is decreased empathy, and a person who lacks empathy is a dangerous person. It's a very dangerous person. It also made him miss opportunities. These people that run after him, it's not everybody that wanted to say, I find, but some people wanted to say, there's this training going on, would you like to be a part of it? Or there's this thing, but because you are so self-absorbed, yes, I have accomplished this, and that is all there is about life. You will not even give ear to what people are saying. Opportunities will be flying over you. You will not even know, because people are like, this one self, you will not answer me if I go and meet him. So self-absorption is very, very detrimental. So the last that I can think of would be trained communication. I think this is very important. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody who is so self-absorbed, somebody who is so self-focused? Like, I bet you'll be quite irritated. Imagine you meeting a stranger for the first time, and you're trying to converse with the person. Maybe you're in a bus and you say, oh, hello, how are you doing? The person says, I'm fine. Well, wow, your hair is lovely. And the person says, well, thank you. You look good too. You see, only that compliment alone will bring a spark in the conversation. Like, you think so, thank you, you're so beautiful, and then the conversation just sparks up from there. But let's look at another scenario. Wow, you look good, and person says, I know. Your hair is really fine. You say, yes, I wear good hair. I bet you will not have a conversation with that person. You'll be so taken aback and disgusted that you just have to end that communication. So being self-absorbed just destroys communication somehow, because when somebody is just talking about himself, he's not even thinking about the other people around. It's a no-no, it's a red flag, and people don't even like it. People will not engage in conversations with such a person. So for me, balance is key. In my own opinion, having some degree or some level of self-focus is quite important, it's quite necessary, because it makes you intentional about your growth, your development, and your well-being. However, it becomes a problem when it is now to the extreme and it's able to interfere with your ability to genuinely connect with other people, with your ability to maintain healthy relationships. Life is about relationships. If you have no relationship, then what are you even living for? Even with our Father God, we need to have a relationship. Talk more with man. So life is about relationships. So if it's able to hamper on your ability to maintain good relationships and live a fulfilling life, then it becomes a problem. So this is where we need to check it. So let us always have an introspection and check our degree of self-absorption. Like I said, it's not bad. It is the degree now that is the issue. So if it is quite low, if you don't take care of yourself, or you don't have respect for yourself or care for yourself so much, you need to up it up a bit. If it is too high that it's all about you and nobody else, you need to bring it down a little bit. So balance is key. That is where the word narcissism came from, the concept of narcissism. Because when it becomes too extreme, it can become a narcissist, because you will now say, okay, you are more important than other people, and then you become manipulative, become domineering, you now want to impose what you feel on other people. So it is a problem and it needs to be checked. So look inward to yourself and check yourself. If you're too self-absorbed, like I said, please tone it down a bit. If you don't have enough self-focus, please up it up a bit, and let us live a balanced life. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short clip. That is all about Narcissus. That was his life, and that was his time. He died untimely. He died young because of self-absorption. If you remember, The Alchemist is coming, so go get that book. Well, like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.